Now, let's talk about the situation with Nigeria's refineries. We're watching and witnessing a turnaround in that area as Nigerians have grown over the past 4 decades and counting about the moribund refineries that have failed to live up to expectations, especially in light of some of the challenges and how central petrol is to the Nigerian economy, especially following the removal of fuel subsidy in May last year by the Tinubu administration. So what does this signpost and what is the current development indicating regarding a turnaround in the near future? We also understand that the NNPCL is open to giving the Port Harcourt refinery out to private operators to guarantee efficiency and, of course, all the other parameters that can give Nigerians quality and, of course, utility, maximum utility that can guarantee some sort of meaningful impact, economically speaking. There is also the Dangote refinery that is gladdening the hearts of most Nigerians who are happy to hear that operations have begun. Well, we're going to talk to some industry expert as well as economists on this particular discussion to understand what this development means and how Nigerians should realistically manage their expectations as a result of some of these developments. Joining us virtually here in Abuja is Steve Nwachukwu, who is an economist, and he'll be giving us some perspective to some of this development. A little later, we'll be joined by the IPMAN president, the current president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, who is also going to add value to the conversation. But we start with Mr. Steve Nwachukwu. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Daybreak once again. I appreciate you for making the time. Your perspective as an expert, but also as a Nigerian, with regards to some of these developments we've seen over the past couple of weeks and months. I mean, we've seen it coming. The government made some promises. The Dangote refinery was promised to kickstart last year. There were some hitches here and there. We were happy to report that operations have begun. The Port Harcourt refinery, we've also seen it being test run. And now for most Nigerians, we are witnessing some sort of turnaround in that area. What are your thoughts about the developments we've seen so far?
Thank you. Good morning, and thanks for having me once again. First and foremost, the essence of trying to rehabilitate or bring back our erring refineries and also the... Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. It is just to try and solve the issues around the import of 100% import of our petroleum products. Yes, it's important that we solve these issues around the consumption of foreign refined products. And it's also important we realize that we have to manage our expectations in the sense that for a couple of months now, we've been hearing of the revitalization, rehabilitation, revival, or revamping of the 3 moribund refineries, and that of the private sector driven, which is the Dangote refinery, which we have been expecting to be on stream for a couple of months now. Will I say, fortunately, we had the news of the completion of the first phase of the Port Harcourt refinery, which is about 60,000 capacity. And now we are also hearing the issue about sourcing or going to look for those who will manage it, a private firm that will manage it. Yes, it's good also to look towards that angle. But what should be the concern of most of us? Like I said, the essence of this discussion is to manage our expectation, because we have been hearing over and over issues around our refinery. During the last administration of President Buhari, we heard about this investment close to $15 or $10 billion to revamp most of these very moribund refineries. Until now, we are not still seeing a drop of crude being refined by these very refining plants. So, like I said, it's more of managing our expectation. In fact, for me and the rest of the analysts, I expected the Dangote refinery to be on stream by September last year. Till now, we are still talking about issues around supply of crude oil and issues around the trench, the phases that it's going to start. Till now, we are not still seeing Dangote refinery, at least the one we have so much expectation from, not being on stream. But like I heard also in the last 1 week that they have received close to about 4 or 5 million barrels of crude to start production. We need to start seeing this refined product being on the police stations.
All right.
Let's say Nigerian marketers
Doctor,
start
if I may,
calling them, moving in to buy most of these products. So,
all right,
like I said, it's a good thing to talk about bringing private sectors to manage it. But what should be the criteria? What should be the transparency focus of Nigerians will be those who have a track record, those who have the financial capacity, those who are the original manufacturers, those who have the experience, those who also have that capability to maintain it, perhaps if anything happens to most of those refineries or the components. So, like I said, let's continue to manage these very issues around. In fact, Nigeria has spent more than $1.5 billion in revamping this very Port Harcourt refinery. I don't know what of essence finding who will manage it. Let's believe that government is going to do the best for Nigerians. But like I said, we need to solve these issues around importation of our petroleum products.
All right,
we can save
Doctor,
a lot.
if I may come in at this point, I would like you to help us understand in actual reality how much of relief we should be looking forward to in 2024, considering some of the staggering data that we have as far as spendings around petroleum products are concerned. I mean, in 2022, it was reported that we spent about $26 billion importing refined products. Today, our currency is battling. I understand yesterday it has touched between 1,250 and 1,300, depending on which of the market you are sourcing, because of the scarcity, despite securing about 2.1 billion from Afrexim tied to our crude, largely because of lack of depth in that market. Imagine we could conserve $22 billion from importation and pump into our FS market. I imagine that our currency will be trading below 1,000.
Stability.
Yes, help us make a sense of what the savings from this, from the spending around this could do for us. I mean, if you look at diesel today, it's around 1,400 per liter from barely 250 naira over a year ago, and the impact that has on businesses. Now that we are refining locally, what should small businesses and average Nigerians look forward to, since we are going to be conserving a lot of dollars from some of this coordinated effort between Dangote and hopefully Port Harcourt refinery?
I love that clause. You said, now that we are refining locally. That's the expectation of Nigerians, now that we are refining locally. But I think, like you said, the data are there to show that we really need to deal with issues around this import of our petroleum products. Take, for instance, if we're able to refine the Port Harcourt refinery alone, the two trench of it, which is about 150,000 barrels per day and 60,000. That's about 210 barrels. Yeah. If you can be able to put those 210 capacity in use, that means you are having about close to about 35 million liters. A barrel of crude oil produces about 170 to 165 liters of petroleum product, or PMS in particular. It means if the 210,000 is in use, it means that we will be sufficient with about 35 million liters daily production. That must have solved more, if not 90% of our daily consumption.
All right.
Like you said, last year, the data shows we spent close to $25 billion in import of petroleum products. And that's a lot of pressure on our forest market. So this government has to be sincere and deal with this issue of import. That's another way of reducing that pressure that CBN passes on daily basis to maintain or manage our forest market, at least for the stability of our forest market. So government has to be sincere. The rhetoric around the production have started, it's 60,000 is coming up, managers and others should end with some level of product. We need to start seeing these numbers. Like I said, we need to start seeing our major marketers to start moving to those refineries and be picking product from those refining plants. That's the realities. That's what we need to start seeing. If we have also the private sector, which is a Dangote, maybe with close to 200 or 300,000 barrel production a day, that means Nigeria has more than sufficient supply. And like I said, it will save on daily basis. We are spending more than $35 million. $35 million, more than $40 million on import of petroleum products. On PMS alone, on PMS, not even the diesel. So if you put the diesel together, it's somewhere around $100 million we spend on daily basis for import of this very petroleum product. So what can government do to at least cut this thing by, if not by 100%, by 50, 70%, is to live to the reality of these refineries. That's the only way. Like I said earlier, whatever needs to be done, if it requires them, like they are shopping for foreign managers or private sector managers, let it be done transparently. Let it be done with people who have financial record, people who has capacity, people who has that maintenance capacity for those refineries. Like Nigeria has spent a lot in this very revamping of this refinery. Recently, we spent $1.5 billion. So let this money not be in wastage. We need to save our exchange market. We need to defend Naira sincerely. We need to defend Naira with these very policies around reducing imports of foreign-made products.
Okay.
So government needs to realize the need to make sure that these refineries work and also support the private sector, that of Dangote, by making sure they make supplies of crude oil to them so that they will start production, at least reduce the pressure on import bills.
All right,
that
Doctor,
is very important.
I would like to further expand these conversations, taking a lead from some of the things you have suggested in your intervention, one of which was how to shop for the right people. For the longest time, it is safe to say that we have mismanaged this asset. I was at the Port Harcourt refinery, and some of the insiders' clue I got from some of the engineers we have there was that as at the time these refineries were shut down, the components that went bad could have as well been sourced from some of the other refineries as scraps, and we should have kept this running until we could find some of these things and fix them. But that's a story for another day. My real worry is what should be the model, for sustaining the huge amount of money we have spent on this refinery. We have attempted to sell them at some point, you recall, in the twilight of the Obasanjo's administration. That decision was reversed by the Yar'Adua administration, and we have paid dearly for it. Today, our total spendings in this for refinery is the equivalent of what Dangote has used to build a greenfield refinery from scratch. What should be the model? Should we sell out some equity so that the people who are coming to manage have a stake in what they are managing and therefore will put in their best? Or we just bring a manager supervisor who really does not have a stake and probably sees it as an opportunity to come make his own beef and move on probably to another person? What kind of operational model, given global best practice, would you recommend that we should apply to a very invaluable asset as the Port Harcourt refinery? Remembering that there are two components of those, as you have mentioned, 150,000 barrel per day and the other 60,000 capacity barrel per day. What kind of management would be best for this integrated facility?
Yeah, unfortunately, we were talking about just about 60,000, which is the old one, which is about 60 60 years old refinery. Yes, it's believed that the refinery can also be operational for more than 100 years. We are not even talking about the 150,000, which is a larger component of the Abubakar refinery. Back to your question, what kind of model do we expect or do is it best for us? I think the best is the equity stake. Let there be a commitment in form of equity in this very refinery from those prospective managers or target managers. Like you have the LNG model. That's a perfect example. The LNG model, yes, the Nigerian government sell 51 or in 1051 or sell 51 and 1049% in these very refineries. That is where we see an optimal performance by these very private managers. There is no how you will spend $1.5 billion to refine by a refinery and freely give it out to someone who has no stake, who has no commitment, who has no financial stake in that refinery. You will not get the best of performance from such managers. So we expect federal government, whatever be the agreement, let it go the line of equity stake. I know federal government has spent a lot, but we still need to get the commitment of these very managers. That's the only way they will be committed to it. If they have a stake, in fact, one of the articles I saw that they should have close to about $5 billion balance sheet or thereabout. That is not just the balance sheet. We need them to invest. We need their commitment in this refinery. That's the only way they will be sincere. Okay. That's the only way they will be committed to it. Okay. If you give it to them at free, they don't have any stake. They can still run it down again because the 1.5 billion you spent is not coming from them.
Right, Dr. Nwachukwu, pardon the interruption. Apologies for that. We're just going to have to segue for a little bit because we've been joined also in the studio by the National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association in the studio with us, Abubakar Migandi. Good news as well in the private sector where the Dangote refinery has come off stream. And we're going to talk to the National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, who are very central and important to the distribution and the supply chain here in the country. Abubakar Migandi is the national president of the association. Thank you most kindly for joining us on the program. It's good to see you.
Well, thank you very much.
Right. First and foremost, what is IPMAN's position on the developments that we've seen so far with Dangote refinery, the Port Harcourt refinery, NNPC's position on looking for private operators to run the refineries when they're fully functional?
Okay. First of all, let me say good morning to Nigerians and good morning to our independent petroleum marketers. Well, the development actually is not only IPMAN, it's the development for the whole Nigeria. Because we independent petroleum marketers, before we have only one source of getting products, but now due to the coming of Dangote refinery, is another chain of getting the product. So it's a welcome development, and of that very big higher capacity.
And yeah, go ahead, sir.
So how are your members preparing for this? Last week, I think it was, we got news of how you people are meeting and you are planning to meet with management of the Dangote refinery on the modalities that would make ease of evacuation of this, especially even the ones they have started with diesel and aviation oil, and thereafter, hopefully, in not too long a time, the petroleum product. What can you help Nigerians understand what kind of an arrangement is going on, and when should we start getting these products at your retail station?
Well, in fact, we have already contacted the management and we sent all our letters. So what we are just waiting now is the meeting between we and Dangote, so that we can be able to know the quantity that he can be able to give us at the end of the day.
Has he responded to your...
Yes, we are waiting for his response. I know very soon he will respond to us because, as you know, we independent petroleum marketers, we are having the largest retail outlet in the country. Therefore, there is nothing he can do. I know he has to put us on board.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you are his, you're part of his customer base, but give us a perspective that Nigerians can relate to, because over the past 3-4 weeks, the big question especially on the news, is there's a potential that PMS could sell as high as 1,200 or 1,300 naira. And for most Nigerians, they feel like IPMAN as an association or its members as businessmen only care about the profit and not necessarily the hardship that Nigerians have been facing, especially over the past 2 quarters since the removal of fuel subsidy in May last year. What is your response to that? Is IPMAN solely just looking at the profit, or there is also a sense that, listen, you're trying to make life easier for Nigerians also, regardless of the business component of it?
No, for the intonation that people to say that we are just after profit, it's not like that. Remember that we too, we are Nigerians, and we need something that at least will bring ease to the masses. And remember that most of our filling stations, they are all over in the whole country. Some are in the villages, local government, state government, and other places. So, in most of the cases, it's our relatives are buying this fuel. Therefore, we don't want a situation whereby we put a hardship on them. Always what we are looking is how to bring this product to a lowest rate that all Nigerians can be able to purchase it so that they will be doing their normal business.
Do you think that with what we have seen, because people keep saying even if the refineries begin, prices would not go down, all kinds of insinuations have been made. Are we expecting that the prices would trend downward? Because these days we wake up, there is a little scarcity in the morning, by evening there is an adjustment in the price. Are we expecting now that we have removed the component of importation and everything, are we expecting to see the prices go down?
Yes, definitely that is what we are expecting. Remember that this product is being refined in the country. Therefore, we know that definitely it will come down. And the capacity which Dangote is producing is a very big capacity, which is more than Nigerian consumption. And remember that even Port Harcourt refinery will soon be into system. So I think the price, by God's grace, is coming down because, the reason why you have been seeing that the price is going up, because we are not refining the product in the country. We have to use dollar to go and purchase this product. But now we are using naira to purchase it. And already the commodity is inside our country. Therefore, we are expecting the price to be lower a little bit, but not the way people are thinking it will come down seriously, but it will be lower.
Yeah, okay, you just made a very good point there about, people's expectations. Nigerians clearly expect a quick turnaround in this development. But from your experience, from what you're seeing so far, from the communications you've had, what is your estimated timeline before Nigerians can see a decline or, of the pump price, for instance?
Well, since there is market competition, not only Dangote, as Dangote now has started producing, I know most of the Nigerians, they are trying to see how they will do their refinery. Like we independent petroleum marketers, we too have been going around to see that we do our refinery. Already we have the intention, we secure the land. Definitely, we can call most of our foreign partners so that they will come and we'll see how we can be able to produce our own refinery too.
Okay, finally, before we let you go, Nigerians lately have been complaining, and I'm wondering if you are able to provide answers to this, but nonetheless I will go on, that it appears that the quality of fuel that we are selling at the stations is different from the old one. They claim that it appears that it burns faster because you are buying at a very expensive rate, and it turns out not to get value from it. Is it true that the quality of the fuel that we get at the retail station is different from what we used to get prior to the subsidy removal?
It's not like that. When the price is being increased, you will see the quantity that you have been buying before. Now it has been up to 3 times compared to the way you have been buying now. So that is the reason why people, when they buy the PMS, they will just see they didn't take a longer time, it burns.
Right, okay.
So that is just the situation. Okay. But the quality and the quantity of the product is the same thing.
On a final note, though, there is something that I believe, as a cow owner myself, some of your members are guilty of, and that's the manipulation of their pumps, for instance. Lately, we've seen so many cases being reported. Is IPMAN interested in working with, regulatory agencies to ensure fair play, that none of your members are manipulating their pumps to cheat Nigerians, especially who are buying these products with their hard-earned money? Is there any sort of disciplinary action? Do you make sure? Do you have a mechanism to ensure that everybody is, operating according to ethical standards?
Well, we independent petroleum marketers, because of the large volume of retail outlet that we have, that is why people are thinking that anything immediately when they mention, like what you have said about the tempering of the meter and the rest of them, they will refer it to the independent petroleum marketers. But honestly, it's not like that. We independent petroleum marketers, we are always very cautious in terms of our business, because we fully depend on cash and carry. And if you are tempering meter, definitely people will run away from your filling station. There are some stakeholders that we are together. They too, they have filling stations. So sometimes any filling station people see, they will just say this filling station is for independent petroleum marketers. Sometimes we even call the regulatory body to come and check the dispensing of our pumps, so that to see that we are giving people the right thing. We give them whatever they buy, we make sure that we give them.
Right.
All right. We thank you very much, Alhaji Abubakar Migandi, and also congratulations. This is your first time, I'm sure, since your election. Right. The last time you were here, you were vice president. Now you have been elevated.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I hope you came with petrol for us to celebrate your election.
No, the petrol is available in most of our filling stations.
All right.
Anywhere you go, you can get it.
Fantastic.
Right, okay.
Yeah. We have been talking with Alhaji Abubakar Migandi, president of IPMAN, who has helped us understand some of the expectations of Nigerians around these new refineries and how they would help along that value chain to ease distribution across the country. Once again, thank you very much for finding time to be here.
Thank you very much.